Hello friends, I am Sarvesh and today we are going to learn object-oriented analysis and design. This is an important system design and modeling process. It is must to know for a software architect. So without wasting time, let's start. Object-oriented analysis and design has two parts. First is the object-oriented analysis and the next is object-oriented design. So what is the object-oriented analysis? It is an approach to model a system as a group of interacting classes and objects. Famous computer scientist Grady Bruce has defined object-oriented analysis as object-oriented analysis is a method of analysis that examines requirements from the perspective of the classes and objects found in the vocabulary of the problem domain. And object-oriented design is an implementation of the conceptual model produced during object-oriented analysis. It includes detailed design of class, interface, constraints, function, etc. Object-oriented analysis and designs has three phases. First is static analysis, next is dynamic analysis, and final one is the functional analysis. Object-oriented analysis and designing steps. So the first step when we start the analysis is identify objects and groups them into classes. Identify their attributes, member and properties. This falls under static modeling. Next is the relationship. Identify relationship among classes. For example, is a relationship, another is has a relationship or association. Define inheritance, interface, etc. This also falls under static modeling. Interactions. Identify how objects fit into the system and their communication among themselves or interactions. Identify states of each object, event, and analyze the applicability of the action. This falls under dynamic modeling. Next is the functionality. Identify operations performed by objects, their behavior, external and internal functions, how different objects work together to achieve major functionality or goals. This falls under functional modeling. Static analysis. In this phase, we analyze the system and identify objects and group them in classes. Try to write short description of the class. If the description is big, split the class into smaller classes. We can follow one rule. One class should have one responsibility. In this way, we can define the classes. We should use noun to name the class. In the below diagram, there is an online shopping system. This is a use case diagram where we will see what a member and viewer can perform the actions. So here member and viewers are the actors and online shopping is a system. So viewer can browse the catalog. Viewer can browse catalog categories, browse items, and he can register himself. Once the viewer registers himself, he becomes a member. So member have all the privileges of a viewer. Along with, he can add the item to shopping cart, purchase item from the shopping cart. He can perform login and logout action. This is a very small system. We will try to analyze it. Static analysis. So from previous online shopping use case diagram, we can identify member, catalog, item, shopping cart, register, and order classes. Let us see how they interact with each other. So member and viewer can browse items. Viewer can register to the system and he will become a member. Member uses shopping cart to keep items which he wants to purchase. He can place an order. So there are different type of the relationship among classes. For example, inheritance, association, aggregation, composition, etc. In the right side diagram, I have tried to show some relationship. For example, you can see member is a kind of user. Catalog is composed of various kind of items. Order is composed of order lines. After analyzing objects and their interactions, their relationships, next step is to add the attributes to the classes. So here I have in the right hand side shown one example where I have tried to add few attributes to the user class. Once classes are defined, objects are identified, their interactions, their relationships are defined, and we are confident that these are accurate, then we should start dynamic analysis. It involves use case realization. For example, demonstrate how the use cases can be achieved by the class and objects which we have created. Identify state of objects, that is transition, change from one state to another. For example, a viewer, when he registers, becomes a member user type. Identify event which causes or trigger a transition. So registration is an event which causes the transition from viewer to member type. Identify action which happens due to event, registration of user, adding items in shopping cart, etc. State transition diagram, sequence diagram, and collaboration diagram can be used to represent dynamic analysis. In this, I have tried to present sequence diagram for adding items to shopping cart. So please take some time to view it. So once the dynamic analysis has been completed, next step is functional analysis, where we add functionality to individual class and controller classes, etc. User class can have create, delete, update, get all users, get user methods. Shopping cart can have create shopping cart, add items to shopping cart, delete item from shopping cart, etc. So in this way, try to identify the different functionality of classes and keep it together. If there are multiple entities are involved to achieve a use case realization, add a controller class. Define a boundary class which takes input from outside and pass the information to inside entity to achieve the functionality. Thanks for watching the video, and please connect with me on email ID service189@gmail.com for any question. Thank you.